I opened my eyes to the dull white ceiling above me and tasted blood in my mouth. A machine beside my bed beeped slowly, almost lazily, as if it had already given up on keeping me alive. I laughed. The sound came out as a broken cough. So, this is how it ends. No one answered. No footsteps. No family. No friends. Just silence. I turned my head toward the empty chair beside my bed. I deserve this, I whispered. The door opened, and a nurse stepped inside with tired eyes. Mr. Carter, are you awake? I wish I wasn't. She forced a small smile. The doctor will be here soon. I don't need a doctor. You still need treatment. I shook my head. No. I need time. She hesitated before leaving me alone again. The room became quiet once more, and the memories I had spent years trying to ignore came rushing back. I was an idiot. Those words hurt more than anything. I had a wife who loved me. I had a little daughter who believed I could do anything. Yet I threw both of them away because I refused to let go of a woman who had never truly loved me. Emily. Even saying her name filled me with shame. Years earlier, I had convinced myself that she was my destiny. When she smiled at me, I forgot everything else. When she ignored me, I chased her even harder. Even after marrying Sophia, I kept asking myself one stupid question. What if Emily had chosen me? That question poisoned my marriage. Sophia never screamed. She never demanded attention. She simply waited. Every night she asked softly, "Will you have dinner with us?" And almost every night I answered, "I'm busy." Busy. That lie had destroyed my family. Sometimes I wasn't even working. Sometimes I was buying gifts for Emily. Sometimes I was sitting across from her in expensive restaurants, pretending I was only helping an old friend. I remembered one conversation as clearly as if it had happened yesterday. Emily smiled across the table. "Ethan, you're the only man who understands me." I smiled back like a fool. "I'll always be here for you." She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "I knew I could count on you." I felt important. I felt needed. I never realized I was abandoning the people who actually needed me. Then another memory hit me. Sophia stood at the front door holding Lily's tiny backpack. "Ethan," she asked quietly, "can we please spend one weekend together?" "I can't." "You promised Lily." "I said I'm busy." Lily looked up at me with those bright little eyes. "Daddy, can we go next week?" Without looking at her, I answered, "Maybe." Maybe. That single word became years of broken promises. I closed my eyes. "I'm sorry." No one heard me. Not Sophia. Not Lily. Only me. The company failed after I made one terrible decision after another. The investors walked away. My so-called friends disappeared. Emily disappeared too. The day I lost everything, I called her. "Emily, I need someone." Her voice sounded cold. "I'm married now, Ethan. I just need to talk. I think it's better if you don't call again." The line went dead. That was the moment I finally understood. I had never been the love of her life. I had only been useful. Tears rolled down my face. I traded everything for nothing. Weeks later, Sophia filed for divorce. She didn't yell. She didn't insult me. She simply looked exhausted. I can't let Lily grow up thinking this is what love looks like. I wanted to argue. Instead, I signed the papers. I told myself I still had time to fix everything. I was wrong. A knock interrupted my thoughts. The doctor entered slowly. "Mr. Carter." His voice sounded strange. "What is it?" He looked down. "I'm sorry." My heart tightened. For what? There was an accident. I stopped breathing. "Who?" He hesitated. "Your ex-wife." My fingers trembled. "Sophia." He nodded. "She protected your daughter." My voice broke. "Lily." "Your daughter survived." I covered my face. Thank God. Then I looked back at him. And Sophia? Silence. The answer was already written across his face. "No." "I'm sorry." "No." I tried to sit up, but pain exploded through my chest. No, she can't be gone. The doctor placed a hand on my shoulder. I truly am sorry. After he left, I stared at the ceiling again. Sophia had saved Lily. Even at the end, she had chosen our daughter. And I had spent years choosing someone else. My breathing became weaker. I don't deserve forgiveness. I pictured Sophia smiling gently. I pictured Lily reaching for my hand. I failed both of you. The monitor beside me began beeping faster. I whispered into the empty room. If anyone can hear me, if heaven gives broken men one impossible miracle. A tear slipped into my ear. Let me do it again. Let me choose my wife. Let me be Lily's father. Let me stop chasing Emily. Please. Darkness swallowed everything. Then someone shook my shoulder. Ethan. A familiar voice. Ethan, wake up. My eyes flew open. The room was different. The bed was different. And the voice. It was Sophia's. My heart pounded so hard that I thought it would burst. Ethan. Sophia's voice reached me again. Are you okay? I stared at her without speaking. She looked exactly the way I remembered before everything fell apart. Her long hair rested on her shoulders, and the soft concern in her eyes almost broke me. I. Before I could finish, tiny footsteps raced down the hallway. Daddy! The bedroom door flew open. A little girl jumped onto the bed and threw herself into my arms. I caught you. Lily giggled. I froze. My hands trembled as I wrapped my arms around her. She was warm. She was real. I buried my face in her hair. Lily. She laughed. Why are you hugging me so tight? I just missed you. You saw me before bedtime. I know. That's silly. It is. I closed my eyes, trying to stop the tears. Daddy. Yes. Are you crying? I smiled through wet eyes. Maybe they're happy tears. She touched my cheek with her tiny hand. Did somebody hurt you? No. Then why are you sad? I'm not sad anymore. Sophia stepped closer and placed a breakfast tray beside me. I think you had a nightmare. I looked at her. I did. It must have been terrible. It was. She sat on the edge of the bed. Do you want to tell me? I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to say that I had watched her die. I wanted to confess that I had destroyed our family once already. Instead, I whispered, I dreamed I lost both of you. Sophia reached for my hand. It was only a dream. I squeezed her fingers. I never want it to become real. She smiled gently. It won't. My chest tightened. If only she knew. Lily climbed into my lap again. Daddy, are we still going to the park today? The question hit me like a knife. In my previous life, I had cancelled that trip. Then another. Then another. This time I answered without hesitation. Yes. Really? Really? You promise? I promise. She threw both arms around my neck. You're the best daddy ever. Her words nearly shattered me. I didn't deserve them. Not yet. But I would. I silently swore I would. Sophia watched us with quiet surprise. You seem different today. Do I? You usually check your phone before saying good morning. I looked toward the nightstand. My phone lay there untouched. It can wait. She tilted her head. And breakfast. I'd love breakfast. She laughed softly. Who are you, and what did you do with my husband? I think. I stopped. I think I forgot what really matters. Her smile faded into thoughtful silence. Before she could ask another question, another voice echoed from downstairs. Ethan. I recognized it instantly. Mom. I made fresh pancakes. I looked at Sophia. My mother is here. She nodded. She came early. Why? You forgot. I searched my memories. Then it came back. Sunday breakfast. A family tradition I had abandoned later. I remember now. Lily grabbed my hand. Come on. We walked downstairs together. Every step felt like a gift. Mom smiled the moment she saw me. There you are. I hugged her without warning. She laughed in surprise. What's gotten into you? I just wanted to hug my mom. She patted my back. I won't complain. A familiar voice interrupted us. If you hug Mom any tighter, she won't be able to breathe. I turned. Michael stood in the doorway holding a coffee mug. My older brother. Alive. Healthy. Smirking exactly the way I remembered. I walked over and hugged him too. He nearly dropped his coffee. Whoa. What? Are you sick? No. Did you lose a bet? No. Then why are you acting like this? I guess I forgot how lucky I am. He stared at me. I have no idea what that means. It means. I smiled. I'm happy you're here. Mom exchanged a confused glance with Sophia. Sophia shrugged. I think he had a bad dream. Michael chuckled. It must have been terrifying. You have no idea. We sat around the table. Lily happily covered her pancakes with syrup. Mom kept adding more food to my plate. Sophia poured coffee for everyone. The room filled with laughter. Ordinary laughter. The kind I had once ignored. I listened to every voice as if I might lose it again. Halfway through breakfast, my phone vibrated. The screen lit up. Emily. My smile disappeared. Sophia noticed. Aren't you going to answer? I stared at the name. The same call. The same morning. Just like before. I answered. Hello. Ethan. Emily sounded cheerful. I need to see you. What happened? Something important. Can it wait? No. Please meet me. I really need you. I closed my eyes. Those words had once controlled me. Not anymore. I'll think about it. Silence. Then she asked, Since when do you hesitate? I looked across the table. Lily was laughing. Sophia was smiling at something Mom had said. For the first time, I understood what I had almost thrown away. I tightened my grip on the phone. This time, I whispered to myself, I'm choosing my family first. I stared at Emily's last message for several minutes before leaving the house. I'm going out for a little while, I told Sophia. She looked up from helping Lily color a picture. Will you be home for dinner? That simple question hurt. In my previous life, I had answered without thinking. Don't wait for me. Today I smiled. Yes. You will. I promise. Lily looked at me with bright eyes. Daddy, really? Really? She grinned. I'll save you the biggest piece of chicken. I wouldn't miss it. Sophia watched me quietly. I'll believe it when I see you. You will. I left before I could lose my courage. Emily had chosen the same cafe as before. When I walked inside, she waved with her familiar smile. Ethan. I sat across from her. You wanted to see me. She leaned closer. I missed you. I stayed silent. She laughed softly. Why are you looking at me like that? Like what? Like you're seeing me for the first time. Maybe I was. The woman in front of me looked exactly the same. The difference was me. What happened? She asked. You sound serious. I'm listening. She sighed dramatically. My marriage is falling apart. I remembered those exact words. Years ago, they had pulled me into a disaster. Now they sounded rehearsed. Ryan doesn't understand me, she continued. He only cares about work. I'm sorry to hear that. She frowned. That's all. What else should I say? I thought you'd ask if I was okay. Are you okay? She reached across the table. I don't know. She touched my hand. I always feel safe with you. I gently pulled my hand away. She blinked. Did I do something wrong? No. Then why are you acting so distant? I'm just listening. She forced a sad smile. I've been feeling so alone. I nodded. I'm sorry. I knew you'd understand. She lowered her voice. I don't know who else I can depend on. There it was. The hook. The same sentence that had trapped me before. I looked into her eyes and finally saw what I had refused to see. She never asked how I was. She only talked about what she needed. Ethan. I'm here. I've been thinking. About what? I wish life had turned out differently. So do I. She smiled. I knew you'd say that. No. Her smile faded. I meant I wish I had appreciated the people who truly loved me. She stared at me. What does that mean? It means I finally understand something. She crossed her arms. Explain. I spent years chasing someone who never chose me. She laughed nervously. You're joking. I'm not. She looked offended. I cared about you. You cared about having me available. Her expression hardened. That's unfair. Is it? I always supported you. You always needed something. She leaned back. So now I'm the bad person. I didn't say that. You don't have to. She looked away before speaking again. I actually need your help. I almost smiled. Of course. What kind of help? Ryan invested in a terrible business, she said. We are short on money. I don't know what to do. In another life, I would have written a check before she finished speaking. Now I simply asked, have you talked to your husband? He wouldn't understand. He should be the first person you talk to. I came to you. I'm not the right person anymore. She looked shocked. What? My wife and my daughter come first. She stared at me as if I had spoken another language. Since when? Since I remembered what really matters. She laughed bitterly. So Sophia finally won. This isn't about winning. It sounds like it. No. It's about choosing the family that has always chosen me. She slammed her coffee cup onto the table. You've changed. You're right. I don't even recognize you. I barely recognize the old me. She pointed toward the door. So you're just leaving? Yes. Just like that? Yes. What if I need you tomorrow? You should call your husband. And if he refuses? I still won't come. She shook her head. I never thought you'd become this cold. I stood. I'm not cold. I'm finally honest. I placed enough money on the table to cover my drink. I hope things get better for you. She didn't answer. As I reached the door, I heard her call my name. Ethan. I stopped but didn't turn around. You'll regret this. I smiled sadly. I already know what regret feels like. Then I walked away. Every step felt lighter. It still hurt. A part of me was saying goodbye to years of false hope. But another part of me finally felt free. My phone rang before I reached my car. Hello. I answered. Ethan, it's Daniel. My best friend sounded surprised. I heard you met Emily. I did. So? It's over. What do you mean? I closed that chapter. He laughed. I've wanted to hear those words for years. I should have said them sooner. You sound different. I am. I like this version better. So do I. When I arrived home, the smell of dinner filled the house. Sophia looked up in surprise. You're early. I told you I'd be home. She smiled. I honestly didn't expect it. I know. Lily ran toward me. Daddy. I kept the biggest piece of chicken. You remembered. I promised. She grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the table. Moments later, Sophia placed dinner in front of me. She studied my face. Everything okay? I looked at my wife. Then at my daughter. Finally, I answered with complete honesty. Everything is finally starting to be okay. Lily raised her glass of juice. Family dinner. I lifted mine. Family dinner. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about Emily. I was exactly where I belonged. The next morning, I woke before everyone else. Instead of reaching for my phone, I walked into the kitchen. I had no idea how to make pancakes properly, but I wanted to try. A quiet voice behind me asked, "Should I be worried?" I turned and smiled. "Good morning." Sophia folded her arms. "You've been acting strangely for days. Is that a bad thing?" "I haven't decided yet." I wanted to make breakfast. She looked at the burnt pancake in the pan and laughed. "I can see that. I never said I was good at it." "You definitely aren't." I laughed with her. "Will you teach me?" She blinked. "You want me to teach you?" "I want to learn." Without another word, she stepped beside me. "The pan isn't hot enough." I noticed. "No, you noticed after ruining one pancake." "I'll pretend I planned that." She smiled again. "I missed hearing you joke." Her words stayed with me long after breakfast. Later that morning, Daniel stopped by my office. He looked around before sitting across from me. So what? When are you going to tell me what happened?" "I already did." "No." He pointed at me. "You stopped chasing Emily. You came home early. You've smiled more this week than the last 3 years. People don't change overnight." "I did." He studied my face. "Then tell me why." I couldn't tell him the truth. I finally realized what I almost lost. He nodded slowly. "I've been waiting a long time for you to say that. You warned me." "I did." "I didn't listen." "No. I'm listening now." Daniel leaned forward. "Do you know who kept your company alive while you were distracted?" I frowned. "What do you mean?" "You really don't know." "Know what?" He sighed. "Ethan, half your biggest clients stayed because Sophia personally met with them." I stared at him. "That's impossible." "It isn't." "She never told me." "She never wanted credit." I felt my chest tighten. "What else don't I know?" Daniel hesitated. "You should ask Michael." I drove straight to my brother's office. Michael looked surprised when I walked in. "You usually call first." "I need to ask you something." He leaned back. "This sounds serious." "It is." "Did Sophia help my company?" He looked at me for several seconds. "You really don't remember?" "No." He sighed. "Ethan, your business almost collapsed twice." "I know. The bank wanted to cut your credit." My stomach sank. "What happened?" "Sophia convinced investors to give you another chance." I stared at him. "She did that?" "More than once." "Why didn't anyone tell me?" Michael laughed bitterly. "We tried. You never listened." I looked down. "What else?" "She sold some of her own investments." "No." "Yes." "To save my company." "Yes." I covered my face with both hands. I had no idea. "I know." "I don't deserve her." "No." His answer came immediately. "You don't." Those words hurt because they were true. After a long silence, Michael stood. "If you really want to thank her, stop making promises." "What should I do?" "Keep them." That afternoon, Sophia called me. "Can you meet me?" "Of course." "I'm at Mr. Hayes's office." "I'll be there." When I arrived, a tall man with silver hair greeted me. "You must be Ethan." "I am." "I'm Victor Hayes." I shook his hand. "It's nice to meet you." He smiled politely. "I've heard a great deal about you." Something about his tone made me nervous. Sophia looked uncomfortable. "Victor." He raised one hand. "No." He looked directly at me. "I've wanted to meet you for years." "I see." "Do you know why?" "No." "Because I wanted to understand why such an extraordinary woman stayed with a man who barely noticed her." I couldn't answer. He continued. "She defended you in every meeting. She protected your reputation. She found investors. She solved problems you never even knew existed." Every sentence felt heavier than the last. He didn't let me finish. "Tell me honestly. Do you believe you deserve that loyalty?" I lowered my eyes. "No." "Good." His voice softened. At least you're honest. Sophia stepped closer. Victor, that's enough. No. He smiled at her. You've protected him long enough. Then he turned back to me. If you've truly changed, prove it. I will. Don't prove it to me. He glanced toward Sophia. Prove it to your wife. On the drive home, neither of us spoke for several minutes. Finally, I broke the silence. Why didn't you tell me? She kept her eyes on the road. Tell you what? Everything. She smiled faintly. What would have changed? I would have thanked you. I wasn't helping you to hear thank you. Then why? She looked at me. Because I loved you. Those 4 words shattered me. When we reached home, I carried every grocery bag inside before she could touch one. She looked surprised. I can carry those. I know. I want to help. She watched quietly. During dinner, I served Lily first. Then Sophia. Lily giggled. Daddy is being super nice. Sophia smiled. He really is. After Lily went to bed, I found Sophia washing dishes. I gently took the plate from her hands. I've got this. She frowned. You've never liked washing dishes. I never liked appreciating what I had either. She looked at me for a long moment. Ethan. Yes. I don't understand what's happening. I know. I'm afraid this won't last. I met her eyes. I can't explain everything. Then explain one thing. What? Why now? I smiled sadly, because I finally learned that the greatest love in my life was standing beside me all along. She didn't answer, but for the first time in years, she didn't step away when I reached for her hand. Rain tapped softly against my office window when my secretary knocked. Mr. Carter. Come in. She looked uncomfortable. Ms. Emily Brooks is here. I closed my eyes for a second. Did she make an appointment? No. She says it's an emergency. I remembered this day. The same storm. The same desperate visit. In my previous life, I had rushed downstairs before she finished speaking. This time, I took a deep breath. Send her in. A minute later, Emily walked into my office. Her makeup had been ruined by tears. Ethan. I stood politely. Please sit. She dropped into the chair and covered her face. I don't know what to do anymore. I handed her a box of tissues. I'm sorry you're hurting. She looked up. Ryan lied to me. What happened? He invested everything. In what? A company that collapsed. I'm sorry. She leaned forward. I'm drowning. I stayed quiet. I thought you would ask more questions. I don't think questions will change what happened. Her voice trembled. I need help. I understand. No. She shook her head. I need your help. There it was again. The sentence that had destroyed my first life. I folded my hands together. What kind of help? I need money. How much? She whispered a number. It was enormous. Years ago, I would have transferred it immediately. Now I simply asked, does Ryan know you're here? No. Why not? He would never agree. He's your husband. She frowned. So you should face this together. She stared at me. I came because I trust you. I looked out the window. For one brief moment, old memories tried to pull me back. I remembered believing she needed me. I remembered feeling like a hero. Then another memory appeared. Lily crying because I missed her school performance. Sophia eating dinner alone. The empty hospital room. Sophia's funeral. I looked back at Emily. I can't do this. She blinked. What? I can't become part of your marriage. I'm not asking for that. You are. No. Emily. I spoke calmly. Your problems belong between you and Ryan. She stood suddenly. I knew you would help. I'm sorry. You owe me. I smiled sadly. No. You loved me. I loved the person I imagined. She stared at me in disbelief. What does that even mean? It means I spent years chasing an illusion. Her voice grew sharper. So your wife changed you. My wife reminded me who I should have been all along. Emily laughed bitterly. I never thought you'd choose her. I should have chosen her from the beginning. She stepped closer. What if I leave Ryan? I shook my head. It won't change my answer. What if I divorce him? It still won't change my answer. You really don't feel anything. I answered honestly. I feel regret. Her eyes narrowed. Regret. I regret wasting years that belonged to my family. Silence filled the office. Finally she whispered, You've become cruel. No. I've finally learned kindness. She frowned. Kindness? Yes. Leading you on would be cruel. Telling you the truth is respectful. She grabbed her purse. You'll regret humiliating me. I hope one day you find peace. I don't need your pity. I wasn't offering pity. She slammed the door behind her. I remained standing for several seconds. My heart hurt. Not because I wanted to run after her. Because I was burying the last piece of a foolish dream. That evening Daniel called me. I heard Emily left your office furious. News travels fast. What happened? I said no. Daniel laughed loudly. I've waited years to hear that. I should have listened sooner. You finally did. The next morning my phone exploded with messages. One read, Emily says you begged her to leave her husband. Another said, people are talking about you online. I sighed. The rumors had started. Again. Only this time I wasn't afraid. When I reached the office, Michael walked in. You've seen it. I have. Want me to call a lawyer? No. Fight back? No. He looked confused. Why not? Because the truth doesn't need to shout. He smiled. You're becoming wiser. I wasted enough years being foolish. That evening I arrived home expecting questions. Instead, Sophia was setting the table. You heard the rumors? I asked. Yes. Do you believe them? She looked directly into my eyes. No. You're not even going to ask. I already know the answer. How? She smiled gently. Because you've been coming home every evening. You've been keeping every promise. Lily smiles more. So do I. She reached for my hand. Rumors can't erase what I've seen with my own eyes. My throat tightened. You trust me? I do. Even after everything. She nodded. Trust isn't built by words. It's built by choices. Lily ran into the dining room. Daddy. I picked her up. What's my favorite girl doing? I drew our family. She handed me a picture. 3 smiling stick figures stood together holding hands. Above them she had written one sentence in crooked letters. My daddy always comes home. My vision blurred. Sophia quietly stood beside me. Without saying a word, she slipped her hand into mine. That silent gesture meant more than 1,000 arguments. Emily had chosen anger. Sophia had chosen trust. For the first time in my life, I understood which choice was truly stronger. I squeezed Sophia's hand. I won't let go again. She smiled. I know. And for the first time, I believed her. The rumors lasted for nearly 2 weeks. Then they began disappearing as quickly as they had appeared. One morning Daniel walked into my office holding a newspaper. You've seen this. I looked up. What happened now? He placed the paper in front of me. Read the headline. I lowered my eyes. Financial fraud investigation expands. My heart became strangely calm. Ryan. Daniel nodded. And Emily. I remained silent. He studied my face. I expected a bigger reaction. I've already lived through this once. What do you mean? I mean I know where this road ends. He laughed. Sometimes you talk like you've seen the future. I forced a smile. If only you knew. Later that afternoon my phone rang. An unknown number. I answered. Hello. Ethan. Emily's voice sounded weak. I need to talk. I closed my office door. What happened? They froze our accounts. I'm sorry. No. Her breathing shook. You don't understand. Ryan left. I closed my eyes. I'm sorry to hear that. He said everything is my fault. Silence filled the call. Finally she whispered, Can we meet? I don't think that's a good idea. Please. No. I have no one else. You still have yourself. She cried softly. I ruined everything. I answered gently. You still have time to rebuild. I don't know how. You start by telling the truth. She didn't reply. A few seconds later the call ended. I stared at my phone for a long time. Years ago I would have celebrated her downfall. Instead, I only felt sadness. Not because I wanted her back. Because I finally understood that bitterness destroys everyone who carries it. That evening Michael joined me after work. You heard. I did. He folded his arms. Does it feel good? What? Watching Karma. I thought carefully before answering. No. Really. I don't enjoy seeing anyone lose everything. But she hurt you. I know. So? I already got my second chance. What more revenge could I possibly need? Michael smiled proudly. You've changed more than I imagined. I had to. When I reached home, Lily ran into my arms. Daddy. There's my favorite girl. I got a gold star today. That's amazing. She held up her notebook. Mom helped me study. I looked toward Sophia. She was working at the dining table with several business files. You've been busy. She smiled. A little. I walked over. Can I help? She laughed. You. I know. I've never offered before. So. I'm offering now. She handed me a folder. Read these numbers. An hour later I looked up in surprise. These contracts are incredible. She nodded. They could double our company. I smiled. They will. The next morning our board meeting began. One investor stood. We have a proposal. I looked around the room. What proposal? We'd like Sophia to become CEO. The room became quiet. Several years ago those words would have threatened me. Back then my pride would have spoken first. Now my heart answered before my ego could. I support it. Everyone turned toward me. One board member blinked. You do. I do. Sophia looked shocked. Ethan. He smiled to her. You're the right person. I thought. You thought I'd fight you. She nodded slightly. I shook my head. I'd rather build something with you than compete against you. The meeting ended with unanimous approval. When we walked outside, Sophia stopped me. Why? What do you mean? You worked for this company too. Our family worked for it. She searched my face. You're really happy. I've never been prouder. She laughed softly. I don't know what happened to my husband. I finally grew up. Weeks passed. Business improved faster than I expected. Employees smiled more. Clients stayed longer. The office felt lighter because I no longer spent my energy chasing impossible dreams. Instead, I came home every evening. One Saturday, the company organized a family picnic. Children ran across the grass while employees laughed together. Lily grabbed both my hand and Sophia's. Come here. We followed her. She climbed onto a small stage where children were introducing their parents. The organizer smiled. Lily, who are these two? She beamed. This is my mommy. Everyone applauded. And this is my daddy. More applause. Then she wrapped her little arms around both of us. My mommy is the smartest. My daddy is the kindest. The crowd smiled. She looked up proudly. They're my superheroes. My throat closed. I couldn't speak. Sophia quietly wiped a tear from her eye. I squeezed her hand. No award, I whispered, will ever mean more than that. She nodded. I know. As the sun began setting, Lily stood between us holding both our hands. I looked at the sky. For years I had believed happiness was something I needed to chase. Money. Success. Emily. Approval. I had been wrong. Real happiness had been waiting at my own dinner table. It had been hiding inside bedtime stories, shared breakfasts, and tiny hands reaching for mine. I smiled to myself. Karma had never needed my help. Life had simply allowed everyone to harvest the seeds they planted. Emily harvested deception. Ryan harvested greed. And I finally began harvesting love. Not because I deserved it, because I had finally learned how to protect it. As Lily laughed and pulled us toward another game, I silently thanked heaven for giving me one impossible chance to become the husband and father I should have been from the very beginning. A quiet Saturday morning gave me something I had ignored for years. Time. Sophia was taking Lily to a birthday party. Before leaving, she smiled at me. Don't work too hard. I won't. You promised. I know. She kissed my cheek. We'll be back this afternoon. After the front door closed, I looked around the house. The storage room caught my attention. I should finally clean this place. Boxes filled every corner. Old files. Photo albums. Receipts. Memories. While moving one dusty box, a small wooden case slipped onto the floor. It opened. Several folded letters spilled across the carpet. Every envelope had my name written in Sophia's handwriting. My hands froze. Ethan. No stamp. No address. They had never been mailed. I slowly opened the first one. Dear Ethan. I know you're working hard. I don't want to become another burden. Sometimes I wonder if you still smile when you think about me. If I've done something wrong, I'm sorry. I'll try harder. I stopped reading. My vision blurred. Sorry. I whispered the word aloud. What was she apologizing for? I opened another letter. Today, Lily asked why Daddy doesn't eat dinner with us anymore. I told her you're building a better future for us. I hope I wasn't lying. If I haven't been a good wife, I'll keep learning. I covered my mouth. No. My chest tightened painfully. I reached for another envelope. Emily called today. I pretended it didn't hurt. Maybe I'm simply not enough. If loving you quietly is easier for you, I'll keep doing that. I only hope one day you'll see me again. A tear landed on the page. Then another. I couldn't stop them. I never saw you. I whispered into the empty room. I was blind. Every letter carried the same heartbreaking message. Not anger. Not blame. Only love. And apologies for wounds I had caused. I buried my face in my hands. I don't deserve this. Hours passed before I heard the front door open. Daddy. Lily's cheerful voice echoed through the house. I'm home. I quickly wiped my eyes. I'm in here. She ran into the room. What are you doing? I smiled weakly. Cleaning. She noticed the letters. Those are Mommy's. I know. Sophia stepped inside behind her. The moment she saw the open envelopes, she stopped walking. You found them. I did. She looked embarrassed. I forgot they were there. Why didn't you give them to me? She lowered her eyes. I didn't think they would change anything. Lily looked between us. Can I go play? Sophia nodded. Of course. After Lily left, silence settled over the room. I held up one letter. You apologized. She looked away. I shouldn't have. You apologized for my mistakes. I didn't want to fight. You thought everything was your fault. She whispered. Sometimes it felt that way. My heart broke all over again. I stepped closer. It was never your fault. She didn't answer. It was mine. She looked at me with quiet surprise. I know. That evening, after Lily fell asleep, we sat together on the back porch. The night air felt calm. I finally spoke. I need to tell you something. She waited patiently. I've spent years ashamed of myself. She frowned. What do you mean? I became someone I never wanted to be. You've changed. I know. I keep asking myself why. I look toward the stars. I can't explain everything. You don't have to. I do. I took a deep breath. I almost became a man who lost his family because he couldn't see what was standing right in front of him. She quietly reached for my hand. I noticed. You did. She nodded. The first morning. What gave me away? You looked at me like you were afraid I'd disappear. I smiled sadly. I was. She squeezed my fingers. You hugged Lily as if you'd found her after years. I felt that way. I knew something inside you had changed. Why didn't you ask questions? I almost did. What stopped you? She smiled gently. Your actions. My actions. You came home. You kept your promises. You listened. You laughed with Lily. You looked at me. I decided I didn't need explanations. I only needed consistency. Tears filled my eyes again. I'm sorry. She shook her head. For what? For every dinner I missed. For every promise I broke. For making you believe you weren't enough. Her voice became soft. I forgave you before you apologized. You shouldn't have had to. I know. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. She smiled. You don't have to repay love. I want to. She leaned her head against my shoulder. Then just stay. I will. No secrets. No secrets. No running away. Never again. No pretending everything is fine. I promise. She looked into my eyes. We talk. We always talk. I nodded. We face everything together. She smiled through tears. Together. I wrapped my arms around her. For the first time, I understood what those letters had truly been. They were not cries for attention. They were quiet prayers from a woman who refused to stop loving me even when I had stopped seeing her. I kissed her forehead gently. I see you now. She closed her eyes. I know. That simple answer healed a wound I thought I would carry forever. As we sat beneath the stars, holding each other in comfortable silence, I realized love had never needed grand speeches. It only needed two people brave enough to tell the truth before it became too late. This time, it wasn't too late. And I intended to spend every remaining day proving that she would never have to write another letter she was too afraid to give me. The first cry echoed through the hospital room, and my heart nearly stopped. A nurse smiled at me. Congratulations. I looked toward Sophia. She looked exhausted, but her eyes were shining. We did it, she whispered. I nodded, unable to speak. The nurse carefully placed our baby into my arms. Meet your daughter. My hands trembled. So tiny. So beautiful. Sophia smiled. What do you think? I swallowed hard. I think. My voice broke. I almost lost this. She looked at me with gentle confusion. What do you mean? I kissed our daughter's forehead. I mean, I never want to take another day for granted. Sophia reached over and touched the baby's little hand. We should tell her name. I smiled. Hello, Olivia. The baby moved slightly. Lily stood beside my bed, standing on her toes. Can I see my sister? Come here. She carefully looked at the tiny face wrapped in a blanket. She's so little. She is. I'm going to protect her. I laughed. I believe you. Lily looked at me seriously. You protect Mommy. I will. I'll protect Olivia. We make a good team. She nodded proudly. The best team. Days later, we finally returned home. The house felt warmer than ever. Baby bottles covered the kitchen. Tiny blankets rested on the sofa. Soft laughter filled every room. One afternoon my phone rang. An unfamiliar number. Hello. It's Emily. I closed my eyes for a moment. I'd like to meet. I looked toward the living room. Sophia was feeding Olivia. Lily was drawing another family picture. I have 30 minutes. They met in a quiet park. Emily looked completely different. The confidence that once surrounded her had disappeared. Dark circles rested beneath her eyes. She gave me a weak smile. Thank you for coming. I hope you're okay. She laughed softly. I'm learning. We sat on a wooden bench. For several moments neither of us spoke. Finally she looked at me. I owe you an apology. I stayed quiet. I knew you cared about me. She looked down. I liked having someone who always chased me. My chest felt strangely calm. I know. I never thought about what it was doing to you. I know. I kept calling whenever I needed attention. I know. I convinced myself it wasn't wrong. She wiped away a tear. It was. I looked at the trees swaying in the wind. I've had a lot of time to think. She nodded. So have I. I hurt you. You did. I also hurt your family. You did. She closed her eyes. I'm sorry. The words sounded different this time. No excuses. No manipulation. Only regret. I took a slow breath. I forgive you. She looked surprised. Just like that. I don't forgive you because you earned it. Then why? Because I don't want to carry yesterday into tomorrow. She cried quietly. I don't deserve your forgiveness. Maybe not. But I deserve peace. She smiled through tears. I hope your family knows how lucky they are. I smiled. They're the reason I'm lucky. She stood. I won't bother you again. I hope you build a good life. I'll try. She hesitated before asking one final question. Did you ever love me? I answered honestly. I loved the dream I created. And now? Now I know the difference between fantasy and love. She nodded slowly. I understand. We walked in opposite directions. Neither of us looked back. When I reached home, Lily threw the front door open. Daddy. She hugged my legs. Olivia smiled. Really? I think so. Sophia laughed from the couch. It was probably gas. Lily shook her head. No. She smiled. I sat beside Sophia. How are my girls? Tired. Happy. Hungry. I laughed. Which one are you? All three. I gently lifted Olivia into my arms. She slept peacefully against my chest. Sophia leaned her head on my shoulder. Long day. Yes. Everything okay? I smiled. I closed one final door. She looked at me. And? I'm exactly where I belong. Lily climbed onto the couch beside us. Family hug. She wrapped both arms around us. Sophia laughed. Careful with your sister. I know. The four of us sat together while evening sunlight filled the room. I looked around slowly. The framed family pictures. The scattered toys. The half-finished coloring books. The baby blanket folded beside Sophia. Years ago I would have called this ordinary. Now I knew it was extraordinary. I once believed happiness lived somewhere ahead of me. In another woman. Another success. Another dream. I had spent years chasing a future that didn't exist while ignoring the miracle waiting inside my own home. Now I finally understood. Real love never begged to be noticed. It quietly stayed. It forgave. It waited. It believed. Sophia had believed in me when I gave her no reason. Lily had loved me before I earned the title of father. Olivia arrived as proof that heaven sometimes gives broken people another beginning. I kissed each of them gently. Thank you. Sophia smiled. For what? For never giving up on me. She squeezed my hand. We never stopped being your family. I nodded. And I will never stop choosing you. That was the promise I had once failed to keep. This time, I would keep it for the rest of my life. Being reborn did not simply give me another chance to live. It gave me the wisdom to recognize the greatest treasure I had almost thrown away. I stopped chasing an illusion. I finally chose the people who had always chosen me. And that choice became the happiest ending I could ever ask for.